The NSE ASI index today closed at 36,367 points, so a little more of the same. We see it down about 0.1%. The market, of course, has been trading within a pretty tight range over the last few weeks. This was as a result of losses we saw in the gains in likes of Nestle Nigeria, UAC, PZ Cousins, Nigerian breweries, and flour mills. While on the flip side, we did see GlaxoSmithKline, Just International Breweries, Guinness Nigeria, and Guarantee Trust Bank gain in the session. Now let's move on to the stock exchange, where David Andoni, General Manager at Lambert Trust and Investment, is standing by to give us some perspective on the day's trade. Thank you so much, David, for joining us. So it's like I mentioned earlier, it's more of the same. We're seeing the market trade within a narrow range. I guess it's to be expected these days.
Yeah, thank you very much. The equities market is actually revolving around the point of dynamic equilibrium. At this point in time, you see that the all-share index has stabilized between 36,000 and 36,500 points. And so we would say that essentially is a stable market. Is more or less like a market that is flat now, without any material price sensitive information interfering with the dynamics of the market.
Yes.
However,
I wanted to get your thoughts on this. The market, like we mentioned, has been within a range, so it hasn't fallen. And one would think that more so when it's lacking an upside momentum, there will be a lot more profit taking. A lot of people calling many of the consumer stocks a bit pricey, but yet we are seeing the share prices hold up pretty well. Are you surprised at this trend?
Not at all, because we are actually at the period of the year when generally activities in the equities market slows down. And so the stability that we have seen so far is not surprising at all, notwithstanding the fact that the market narrowly declined today because some of the blue chip companies like Nigerian breweries came down today. But ordinarily, I think we are in a stable market environment wherein speculators peep into one or two areas wherein they can quickly lash on current sentiments to make little income, And I think the brewery sector appears to be the area the speculators are lashing on right now, especially in view of the consolidation that is occurring in that sector. And so we have the fringe players in that sector now dominating activities in the brewery sector, purely in my own thinking, arising from speculation in line with the consolidation that is running through that sector.
Right. And do you think that the brewery sector is one that is likely to trade higher going into the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it's actually possible, because that sector is gathering some momentum now, with premier breweries going on full beat today, and Just Breweries has continued to be upbeat. So I think those fringe players within the industry are likely to be taken up with the high demand that they are enjoying now. So that could generally affect activities in that sector.
All right, later on the show, I'm going to be talking about the interbank market. We saw some volatility there, and it's really linked to the cash reserve ratio, MPC policy that sees a lot of public sector deposits taken out of the banking sector. So your thoughts about the banking sector and the outlook for that? We've seen that even though a lot of people keep calling the banking sector fairly priced, or in fact underpriced, we're not seeing that rally that one will anticipate given the current valuations.
Yes, the market appears to have fully reacted to the tightening in monetary policy that saw the cash reserve ratio for public deposits go up by 50%. And from what I observed in the equities market today, it looks like the banks have already adjusted to the impact of that policy, because today most of the banks actually recovered and they all technically became upbeat. So in which case sentiments are once more flowing positively in the direction of banks. And so that sector can once more, from my observation today, establish itself as a driver of the equities market.
All right, David, before you go, very quickly, if you wanted to pick 3 stocks in this environment, what would it be?
Of course, I will, as usual, take a look at the unfolding events in the Dangote group, wherein the group is growing stronger by the day. I will therefore pick National Salt, which is a stock that has continued to pay out heavily. I would also pick Dangote Sugar, that has new leadership and is also expanding in a terrific manner. And then finally, of course, we'll look at the brewery industry. As a result of the consolidation that is going on there now, one should not underestimate the extent to which Nigerian breweries will actually grow.
All right.